Holistic connection. Let's heal. Holistic connection. Let's learn. Holistic connection. Let's grow. Holistic connection. Let's be real.
Hello, everyone. This is Pamela Topchian, your host for Holistic Connections, conversations with holistic practitioners. And my guest today is Jenny McFadden. I want to welcome you, Jenny. And if you could please introduce yourself and share what you do in the holistic healing space.
Thanks, Pamela. I really appreciate you inviting me on. This is awesome. So what I am is an intuition mentor and a quantum healing facilitator. I never ever thought I would say those words in my life.
Right.
So I kind of want to start where I am now because that helps you understand, like, my experience is how I got here. And so what I do is I help people understand that the symptoms that they're having are actually messages. Messages from the body trying to say, hey, pay attention.
Yeah.
And their intuition is the way that we understand what the body is trying to say. When you tune in and when you ask, you can actually get practical steps, things that you can actually do to help your body heal itself. So, I see symptoms not as a problem. I see them as like intelligent communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the problem for most people is that we haven't been taught how to use our intuition. Like, it's a natural thing that we all have. Most of us assume we should then be able to use it, but we're not brought up that way.
Right.
Not brought up for how to use it. How do I tune in? How do I know I'm tuned in? And how do I ask questions? What sort of questions do I ask? How do I get information? Because what I, over my 20 years of teaching this, is intuition is a conversation. A lot of people refer to it as a gut feeling, but it's actually a conversation. And your body's always speaking, trying to, say things, but we just haven't been taught how to listen.
Yeah, absolutely. The mind-body connection is so powerful. And like you said, we have not been taught to listen to it and to make those connections. And anything that goes awry a little bit is seen as a symptom of something wrong. Whereas, like you're saying, it's so true. It's a message. It's your body talking to you. Listen.
Absolutely. Otherwise, why do we have symptoms? What are they for? Right? And so we can have physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, we can have like gut feelings, there are all kinds of ways that we experience what our body's trying to tell us. Sometimes it feels like resistance. Sometimes it's pain. Sometimes there are all kinds of things that present that we then have to sort of understand what is it that our body's trying to say.
So the work that you do, you are mainly an intuitive coach. You are also an artist and an author. So when people reach out to you, what can they expect after the initial reaching out to you? Then what happens after that?
Okay, so I would want to know, what is a person experiencing? What have they already tried? And I will ask them for what's actually happening in their body. What do they already know that's coming through to them? Because most people, I think, understand that physical symptoms are not just physical. There's an emotional level, there's a spiritual level, there's a mental level. And I think that's who I typically work with, is people who already understand this and are looking for a way to move forward in their life, to heal their body, to work with a relationship, maybe a pattern that isn't working there, and understand, what's my way forward? How do I awaken? What can I do that will help clear what's going in my body, help me move forward, help me make better decisions, all the things that we all want to be able to do. And what I know is that there are a lot of things that a lot of ways that we can work at different levels. So I will ask someone what it is they're looking for, and then I will actually take them through, if they decide to work with me, I'll take them through a process of how to tune into their intuition, because there are lots of different ways to do it, how to check that they're actually tuned in so that they know what comes next is accurate. Because that's one of the biggest things that people struggle with is, how do I know that's right? And what people will often say is, I feel like I'm making it up.
Right,
Right. Yeah, of course you do. Because this is new to you.
Yes.
Right? Because intuition takes training. And it feels at first like we're making it up. And what we do is we rely on our feelings to tell us whether something is accurate, and that's not always the most correct way, or the way that actually tells us are we being accurate. So I'll show someone how to check that they're accurate in a really simple way so they can repeat it themselves. And then what I use is intuition games. So my background is psychology. I actually trained in psychology, and in the 90s, I wrote a book with my mom. It's psychology based. And so I did a lot of applied psychology work. And so for 30 years, I've been a practitioner. And for the last 20 years, I've been teaching how to use intuition. And how I got to that was because I have a psychology background, but I started asking, well, what else is there as a human? Like, what else? There's other things going on here. So I wanted to learn about the unconscious, and I wanted to learn about other ways to work with emotions, and I wanted to work with the energy system of the body.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing all kinds of modalities, but in the end, what that led me to was understanding that they all integrate. They're all ways that we can work with the body. They all are fantastic, but the way to get in to understand is through your intuition.
Yeah.
So when I work with someone one-to-one, that's what we'll do. And so I developed intuition games as a way to do that, because what most people have trouble with is getting out of their head. I did too.
Yeah. Yeah. We all do it to some extent, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's one of the things, that's why I developed games. And when I say games, what they are is a way to tune into intuition. And because when you're creative, when you're sort of being playful, out of your head, you forget about it and you go, oh, that's fun, right? And
Right.
that allows our energy to expand and allows us to start to get the information that we're looking for.
Your book, The Game of Intuition and How to Play It. It says in the description is that you apply spiritual science, energetics, psychology in a fun and engaging way. So that's exactly what you're talking about here. So do you use your own book in your coaching or in your guidance with your clients? Or is that just an extra thing if somebody wants to get your book? Or is that something that you sort of use as a workbook with your clients?
Yeah. So you're absolutely right there. Like, it is a workbook, and it's a way for people to find out what is it that I do. And there are some intuition games in there that people can do themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's really important to me that someone be able to do this themselves. So my background is psychology. And because I wanted to know more about how humans really work, I started to learn a lot of other modalities. NLP, kinesiology, energy medicine, I taught Qigong, things like that. And the more I did that, the more I realized, wait, I'm starting to know things that I don't know how I know. And that was something that 20 years ago, it was not as well known as it is now, and that was called medical intuition. And that's where I realized that when you practice, you actually can do so much more than you think. So I never thought, I'm a skeptic here. I didn't grow up with any of this. That's how I know my experience is what brought me here. And that's how I know how to teach someone else how to do the same thing. Because I wasn't, although we're all born with intuition, I wasn't born with some amazing gift that was already developed. But what also happened was, after a number of years I'd been working as a practitioner, I got a message from guidance saying, you need to stop doing this for other people. You need to stop. You need to stop using all the tools, all the books, the massage table, the this, the that, the charts. You need to stop. And I was scared. I was like, oh, how am I going to do that?
Yeah.
And so I went, okay, show me the way. I'll do it. And I had to move out of, well, I had to, but I was being asked to move out of the space that I was in. And I thought, well, where am I going to go? And then a friend of mine said to me, hey, I've got this office space, and it's in this really tall building in Bondi, which is not where I live. And it overlooks the harbour. And would you like to? I'm like, well, I can't afford that. How much is that? She's like $80 a week. And I'm going, you're kidding. So this was like guidance, when stuff that you say, then it shows up.
Yeah. As soon as you realized, it's like, okay, then things opened up. Yeah.
The point I'm wanting to make is that my job now, as I see it as a mentor, is to help people be able to develop their own abilities, their own capacity, their own connection, their own conversations, so that they can ask any questions that they want.
Yeah.
Because it is a conversation. And I even have games like that where you ask, what's the 10 out of 10 question? You ask whoever your guidance is, and then you ask, what's the 10 out of 10 answer? Like, it's a game, right? And you just start the answer and you go, this is really interesting. So there are all kinds of ways to do that. And then eventually what happened more recently is my guidance led me to create what I now call quantum intuition healing, which is a combination of all the things that I've learned, the principles that I understand, the things I know work, and put them in what is a sort of step-by-step process. And it's incredibly powerful. And what it does is it uses intuition, it uses heart intelligence, and the quantum field. And it helps people not just with physical things, but actually looking at what are the patterns, the underlying unconscious patterns being held in everyone's field. All your memories you've ever had, all the experiences you've ever had are still in your field.
Yeah.
And so intuition can pinpoint exactly the things that are causing procrastination, resistance, sabotage, when you have repeated patterns that keep happening and you keep choosing the wrong partner, or there's a chronic thing that keeps coming up, or, you're wanting to do something, but you just always find yourself sabotaging and going off, like you want to be more business or something like that. And what it does is clear those patterns like that, and they don't come back. So I spent the last 12 months practicing, working with people, following them up, because I thought, is this really how? Wow. Like literally instantly, things that they said were a 10 out of 10 minutes later are a 0. And so then they're free.
So nice.
Free of the old stuff, freedom, you're actually put back in the position of there's space now. You're free to actually choose what it is, how you want to proceed, where you want to go. And, that's a great freedom within.
Yeah.
It is enormously powerful. And I can't believe it is so powerful and so instant, and that it doesn't recur.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I'm really excited about. And once again, it's not about me doing it to someone.
Right.
And it requires no tools. And I think this is coming around, and then I sound like I'm being woo-woo here because of shifting consciousness, right? Even when I say things like that, there's a part of me that's still my old part that goes, are you really saying that? Right? Because what I understand now is about the energetics and about the fact that everything is one energy, one consciousness, call it one God, one universe, and that we can actually tune in and find out what are the patterns that we didn't realize, and like what they are is trying to keep us safe.
Yeah.
Things that experiences that we've had. And so it could be a 5-year-old running the show, right? It could be a 5-year-old
Absolutely.
experience of like, this is really awful and I don't want to experience this again. Doesn't even think of that consciously, and so there's a pattern in your field protecting you from getting into a relationship and committing. And then you wonder, why am I always like that?
Right.
And that's what I have discovered is that we can, your intuition is that knows exactly the points in your field and what they are, and you can actually get the information and then show you how to transform it.
Yeah, your intuition holds all that information for you, and then you can access it when you're ready. Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned you have an office, and we should mention that you are in Australia. So do you work with people virtually as well?
Yeah, all the time. Absolutely.
All the time.
So
Absolutely.
pretty much all my work is done virtually.
Right.
Yeah. So I work with people one-to-one. I have a couple of intuition circles, which is more of like a small group
Nice.
that people can experience and play, and we come together and do all kinds of things. But I also do one-to-one work as well. And this year I'm actually going to start teaching other practitioners
Oh, nice.
how to integrate some of this into their work. People are already looking for this and see the value of being able to make transformation instantly and continue to work with however they normally work.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Because so many people that I talk to in this space here, they've built upon all of their services and offerings, and a lot of the times too, like you said, it integrates into each other and works really well with each other. And I would imagine too that with different clients, some stuff is going to work better than other stuff, just depending on the individual connection and the individual client. Yeah, yeah, that's wonderful.
It kind of depends on what the issue is.
Right,
Sometimes
sure.
my experience in asking questions and really listening.
Yeah.
Not will I always do that, but what I found with this, I call it the quantum freedom formula, is pretty much at some point there will come this area where I can see what they're experiencing. In other words, the symptoms again are
Yeah.
going, hello, patterns here. And we'll just
Okay.
do this simple process. And I've seen, for example, someone who had tremors, they just stopped
Mm-hmm.
after one session. Someone who had panic attacks. I didn't know she'd been having panic attacks. She just came
Mm-hmm.
for anxiety. And a week and a
Mm-hmm.
half later, she said, I haven't had a panic attack any day since. I said, have you been having? She said, yeah, every day, every night. I said, oh. I've seen people who thought they'd lost their connection with their guidance, like
Mm-hmm.
come in and walk away going, "Oh my God, I see everything again." Like this is it. Someone who's already been working in that way and felt that they were
Yeah.
blocked. It's just I am absolutely staggered by what it can do. Is
Yeah.
simply, and it doesn't. Once you know how to do it, it doesn't require me to do it for you.
Yeah. 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 I noticed too, when you're going through the worst time of your life, or
Mm.
something really terrible is going on with you, whether it's internal or within your world, and usually they go together, right? Then that's the time that you feel like you need that connection the most is the time that you feel like it's blocked the most.
You are spot
And
on.
yeah, yeah,
You're absolutely spot on, and that's exactly why I developed a freebie called Activate Your Inner Healer,
yeah,
which applies when healing at any level. The point is that most people, even really people who are intuitive and done a lot of connection work and are really tuned
mm-hmm,
in, generally speaking, when there's, maybe it's a health challenge, maybe it's some kind of stress, it's some sort of trauma, it's some
yeah,
really important decision that somehow they come to me and say, I'm offline, I need support, I need
mm-hmm,
sort of someone to support me through this. And
yes,
so that's when it's really important to understand it's temporary,
mm-hmm,
except but what you need is another good tuning in process.
yeah,
Because sometimes the one you've got is if it isn't, maybe I get because I have one that's a bit longer. I have lots of different ones, but I use
mm-hmm,
one that's a sort of qigong based and also heart intelligence based,
yeah,
and I find that works really well for me, even when things are kind of tough.
yeah,
And
right,
and to play a game, and because it's really normal that people do find themselves feeling disconnected, but the
yeah,
emotion gets in the way, the anxiety, the overwhelm, the importance of something, the fear about making a wrong decision,
right.
things like that.
Yeah, I've been there. Um, so we mentioned your book and we mentioned you have a freebie on your website. The website is just your name. So it's jennymcfadden.net. And the last name is McFadden. And then everywhere that you are is just your name. So that's awesome. It's easy for people to find you. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of those places. I don't want to end this without mentioning you have paintings on your website. You do some intuitive paintings, and you're an artist, and they are amazing. So please go look at those. My favorite one is the Vitality one. I love that. So
Right.
beautiful.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you for telling me that. And that's
Yeah,
so interesting you chose that one because everyone chooses one that really resonates. They're
yeah,
actually intuitive energy paintings. So they
yeah,
all hold a frequency.
yeah.
Like all artwork does, but mine is intentionally created that way.
Mm-hmm.
So from start to finish, it's all about I'm actually following all the messages that it's telling me
Yeah,
or it's coming through me. It's like opening a portal. And
yeah.
so I find it really fascinating when which ones people
When
choose.
people tell you which one's their
Yeah,
favorite, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Because the vitality one really is about, this growth in your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really, you're obviously in a place where you are really flourishing that, it's
Mm-hmm.
like adding to that. It's showing you, it's reflecting back to you,
Yeah,
yourself, right?
yeah,
And supporting that energy that you're already emanating.
yeah.
So yeah, I started my career as an art teacher many, many years
Mm.
ago. Before I moved into, so when went to uni, I did psychology and art.
Wow, yeah.
Right. So a lot of my work, my games have creative aspects to them as well. Some of them are like
Yeah,
scripted drawings and some of them are, so it's like I really love that. I really love to be able to integrate where I can
yeah.
and bring, because creativity and intuition to me are the same thing.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
100% agree. We've mentioned the places that people can find you. Where is the best place for people to reach out to you? Is if there is one. I know you've got a contact form on your website.
Mm.
I don't know if there is one social media platform that you like more than others, or if your website's the best place, probably.
I guess it depends on what the person uses. If they use social media,
Mm-hmm.
then Insta or Messenger is great. If
Okay.
you don't like social media, go to my website, send me a message,
Okay.
contact form, what it is you need, and you'll find a lot of other information on there as well, and
Yeah.
other freebies.
Yeah, yeah, you do have some freebies on there, and we're going to put a link in the description as well as in the show notes, whether somebody's watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast platforms. So please, everybody, look in that description below. Is there anything else that you would like to add or make sure that people know, whether it's about you or about what you do, before we end this today?
I just want to say thank you, and I guess what I want to say is I'm not about giving people answers. I'm about encouraging people to know they already have all the answers.
Yeah.
And your body already knows how to heal. Intuition is just how to listen to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Great message to end on. So thank you so much, Jenny, for being my guest. It's been a long time coming, I know, but I'm so glad we finally got to meet
Oh,
here
same here.
today.
I'm really pleased. Thank you so much.
Thank you.